Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of All Four Downs podcast. This is the college football four downs, three counts production. I'm your host, Obi-Wan. Let's dive right into the rankings because, man, great games, everything. We're going to start from 25 to 21 all the way through because you might be questioning some about my rankings, but it should make sense. And I'm hoping that the APs and the coaches poll are looking at this similar to what I have in store. So let's go ahead and dive into 21 to 25, Cincinnati, USC, Navy, Vanderbilt, and Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh 4-2, 2-1 in the ACC. They did beat Florida State, and the AP poll had Florida State at number 25. So you already know what's going to happen with the Seminoles there. But for Pittsburgh, man, they're playing some good football. Vanderbilt had a bye week. They're new in my top 25. They can hang in there with the SEC. Navy is a big one. I know it's a high risk being in an American conference, but if you look and pay attention to Navy, back-to-back seasons, they have an awesome start. They're undefeated, and they're high risk, right? And the game against Temple, they went ahead. Instead of tying the game, they went for a 2-point conversion. Now, everyone's scratching their head at why would they do such a thing? Navy has nothing to lose. Navy are playing Navy football. And with those players, it's not like they're going to get an NFL contract, right? And they're going to go for fourth downs. They're going to go for wherever it is. It's just their style of play. And they're going to go high risk. So you better be prepared. And Navy, they just giving them their all each and every week. USC, man, they beat Michigan badly, 31-13. They deserve to be in the top 25, and their next opponent will be against Notre Dame. Cincinnati playing good ball. They're 5-1, 3-0 in the Big 12, so watch out for them. They are back. Let's move it on to 16-20. Oregon, Oklahoma, BYU, South Florida, and UNLV. Oregon, Oklahoma come out losing this weekend. Oregon, I had a chance to make a comeback. Now I know they were tying the game at 2020, but from there on, their star quarterback Moore, well, he threw a couple of interceptions that kind of ruined the whole ordeal against Indiana. Oklahoma could not score a touchdown against Texas, the Red River rivalry, and I thought Oklahoma had that defense locked, but Texas showing that they could improve. But then again, it was a rivalry game, and both schools know each other very, very well. So therefore, Oklahoma drops to 11, man. That was a big one. It could have been different if they would score some points. BYU stayed at 18. South Florida moved up one. And UNLV is surprising because Dan Mullen, who's a former head coach of Florida, well, he got UNLV starting at 6-0, 2-0 in the Midwest Conference, but they're all winning big. Moving on to 11-15. LSU, Virginia, Utah, Georgia Tech, and Texas. We just talked about Texas, how they ended up beating Oklahoma. And the way they did it, they deserve to come back to the top 25. And for that, they start at number 15. Georgia Tech moves up to Utah, winning big. An unranked team of Utah to go ahead and defeat Iowa State. Just how they did it. They belong starting at 13. Virginia went up and LSU went up big, up 8 rankings. Let's go ahead and move on to my top 10, starting 6-10. Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. Tennessee moving up, winning big. Notre Dame jumps up, and I understand starting 0-2, but if you pay attention to how they're beating the rest, I'm telling you right now, Notre Dame has a big test this weekend. I hope I didn't overrate the Notre Dame Irish, but they will play against USC, and that's for me is the game of the week. Stay tuned on Tuesday for my predictions. Georgia. Now, a lot will scratch your head on the last 2 minutes of the first half. The last 2 minutes of the first half seemed like it was the whole entire game. They prolonged it, right? From the fumble in the end zone that could have been maybe a score. And I was zooming in myself, watching just like how you were watching. That football was moving before it crossed, okay? Now, I know once it breaks the plane, it should be automatically touchdown. But when they zoomed it in, you mean to tell me that ball wasn't moving before it was punched? That's one. Two, listen, it is what it is. And I'm not saying because I'm a Georgia fan. What I'm telling you is that Auburn did not score in the second half. Georgia's defense changed up their game plan, put pressure on the quarterback. That Georgia defense actually won the game. All right. And yeah, the score, the final score wasn't what the game is all about. But you got to put some D on it, and defense wins championships. And Auburn had no answer in the second half. Indiana up 3, beating Oregon. And they claim they are contenders. And I can't wait. And I am predicting that maybe so Indiana versus Ohio State. And I'm saying that because I think Ohio State, and we'll talk about Ohio State later, Ohio State's going to run the table in the Big Ten. Indiana, the way they played, they are prepared. They're going to make a lot of noise. Texas Tech, probably the best team in the Big 12 at number 6. Moving on to 1 to 5. All right. I got Ohio State at 1, Miami 2, Alabama 3, Ole Miss 4, and Texas A&M 5. Yeah, I flip-flopped Alabama, Ole Miss because of the fact that Alabama beat Missouri. But man, sometimes I got to scratch my head because Alabama's defense, they didn't come to play. It was borderline. It was mediocre on their defense. If Missouri, if their quarterback could have paid attention and be able to look down the field clearly, he had a wide open receiver on the left side of the field, and he forced the ball over a receiver in the middle to get an interception at the end of the game. Missouri had a chance to maybe get themselves to tie the game or win it. And for Alabama, I want to celebrate because I will take that as an L moving on because you have the next opponent. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Ole Miss. But hey, it is what it is. Texas A&M looking strong. They're at number 5. But the Aggies been here before. And let's not forget, Texas A&M does play Texas at the end of the season. That rivalry still exists, and it seems like the tables are turning for Texas. So if I were the Aggies, I will concentrate more on that defense. Wait and see. Miami had a bye week, number 2. Hopefully they got their game straight. Carson's back and everybody else is fresh. And then Ohio State. Ohio State, you can never doubt Ohio State when it comes to the Big Ten. They do play well. Okay. Mediocre week 1 against Texas. Now that Texas are winning, it gets more meaning for the Buckeyes when it comes to their resume. However, I cannot wait. And I know rivalry is a rivalry, but Ohio State does play Michigan. But the way Michigan is playing, this could be the game that at the end of the season that Ohio State will snap their losing streak against Michigan and find Ryan Day is going to get a victory. All right? So I'm just saying. But there's still plenty of football. We're halfway through the college football. And the fact that we're in the middle of October and in a couple of weeks, that's right, in a couple of weeks, we will have our first college football playoff committee making their first picks, right? And see who is officially ranked 1 through 25. But for now, these are my picks, and I'm liking it. And if we're talking about the playoffs, what about this right here? You have Ohio State at 1, Miami at 2, Alabama 3, and Ole Miss at 4. Now, I do have SEC championship title for Ole Miss. And if that was the case, Ole Miss would probably be at number 3. Yeah, let's be real. However, Ole Miss is undefeated in the SEC. That's why I put the SEC next to them. And Alabama's there, right? It is what it is. Okay. But watch this. I'm loving it. To away for those opponents, imagine the Georgia versus Notre Dame game. The winner goes to Ohio State, right? For the bowl game. Then you have Navy. As of right now, I got the American League, the American Conference, right? American Athletic Conference, yes, as the 5th conference champion. Navy versus Texas A&M. That is pretty outstanding, and it has a lot of flavor into that. And the winner goes against Ole Miss, let's say. Then you have the Big 12 champs predicting that it will be Texas Tech versus LSU. I think that one is more manageable to watch. I can't wait on that one. And then Indiana versus Tennessee, a Big Ten versus SEC game, which Tennessee lost to Ohio State last year, and now they're going to play Indiana, let's suppose, right? And then the winner go against Miami. Wow. I could see this unfolding, right? And and I'm gonna tell you this right now, I'll put this as an opener, right? Your thinking brain. Last year, the top four teams that had a bye week, right? Lost. Okay. So will there be an advantage of an extra week playing, or will this finally resolve the issue? If you have a bye week, you do get rewarded and have a greater chance of winning. Okay. So I am all in. I love how the brackets are forming. And each and every week, when I do my rankings, I'm going to show a playoff prediction of what could possibly happen in the college football. But I'm going to go even more deeper into this. And you'll be surprised how the outcome will be. But other than that, it is college football. We're getting set for week 8. You can follow me on 4 Downs 3 Counts on the YouTube channel, Facebook, all 4 Downs, and our sports entertainment wrestling show, the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, which is HHW Show, baby. You got that and much, much more here on our 4 Downs 3 Counts podcast. Yes, it's all 4 downs, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta love some football. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone.